Right, I thought I'd better document my very spasmodic racing career. Did my first ever race when I was 25 and my last one when I was 65. I've only done a handful, and I suppose the lucky thing about that is I can remember most of them. So, you know, I was going to write it down, but a couple of you would have probably read it, so I thought, well, if I make a video, 5 of you might watch it. So there we go. Right, well anyway, it all started when I was 17 and went to a local racing circuit, Cadwell Park, and I saw the stock cars, Formula 1 stock cars, and liked them the best. When I was 19 and decided I was brave enough to have a go, and I started building one. Well, of course it was a no-oper. I didn't have any enthusiasm, it would never have been competitive at all, I wouldn't have done many meetings, got the chassis built, made a good job of that. Anyway, moved away when I was 25, and that was that. So, I worked for a chap and they had a banger race on the beach. The first ever one. And he said, will you take a car for me, Malk? I said, yeah, of course I will. So he gave me a Mini, so technically the car wasn't mine. Anyway, I made a good job of building it. And I went out and found myself leading. My first ever race. Marvellous. Anyway, made a huge mistake. Thought with no confidence in the people running it, and thought the race had finished. Put the flags out, and I thought, oh, they didn't have a checker flag, so I slowed up and they did have a checker flag a lap later, so I lost my first race while leading it. Never mind, we had another go. A bit later in the day, went to my car, didn't start, battery had come loose, and it was in the original plate in a Mini in the boot. Well, the time I'd knocked the battery connection and got it started, they set off, so I jumped in, and of course there was no fence, we were just driving around some oil drums. And I got out just in front of the others coming round. Anyway, that time I ran out of laps and got a second. Car was better than my boss's and it was taken off me, so that was that. Seems that I always get a chance every few years. Anyway, moved away from Ulsby, and a chap built a stadium only 8 miles down the road. And so the next year I said, well, we'll go out in something, I think it'll have to be bangers. Anyway, I got a Formula 2. And a lot of lads were doing it at that time. Didn't cost anything because you got paid start money, which was that paid for the field to get there, and I won a quid twice. So I only did 8 meetings. Now I've no pictures of this at all. No video of this at all. All I've got are 5 pictures. So we won't make this too long. So you're going to have to just see a repeat of the pictures. By the way, you haven't got to sit here listening to me waffling for 10 minutes, quarter of an hour. I've got lots of video and photos, thankfully. None of me Mazda at Skeg, no video of that, but I've got some video of the rest of it, so you know, it should make it tiny bit interesting. No doubt you've seen them, some of you will have seen them, but there we go. Anyway, did 8 meetings in my Formula 2, and it was fine, you know. Ran around, and I got a 6th and 8th place at Skeg, and I raced once on shale at Sheffield and once on another tarmac track, which was a lot better at Brayfield. And one of the highlights of my life was sitting there listening to Rinky Dink, the rolling lap music, as I've been sort of watching for 8 years. You know, as a frustrated driver on the sideline, so that was one of my highlights actually. Anyway, got kicked out from marriage, came to this terrace up this steep hill with no off-street parking, so it had to go. That was it. And then when I was in 1990, when I was 43, I had to stop work because of my lower back wore out. And 2 years later, left here to manage on very little money, with no transport. So, well, you wouldn't believe me, good luck, would you? That I went to my mate's garage. I was helping another friend with his lad's Formula 2. And I called in at my mate's garage, started going there. And he said, what are you out in? And I picked up a leaflet for banger rods, which were just starting out, rookies as we know them nowadays. And so he had a Mazda, which he gave me. I gave him a tenner because it was my car, built the car well. Went to Swaffham, and we've got videos of that. I'll show you just 1 or 2 brief things. The day went alright, and he took me, and so it didn't cost me anything. You know, it was a good day. I did alright, got a little write-up in the paper. And my mate said, what are you doing now? So well, wait until next year, you know, when it comes warm. So I did just that. Well, the Skeg this time had been turned to shale, which was marvellous. So I went and made the track, tarmac track. The first tarmac track at skate was hopeless. It was awful. Anyway, so I took the Mazda to skate on the first Wednesday night that they were on. And by the way, in Banger Rods then, you had 3 laps of non-contact racing, and then you were allowed limited contact. And just about everybody obeyed the rules. Well, for that meeting anyway. Well, there was only 6 of them there, but 6 of us there, but 4 of them were champions or future champions. So you know, it wasn't like it was a walk in the park, did we? Anyway, I got 2 seconds and won my last race. So all those years later, you know, when I was 49, I managed to win my first race, which I'd lost through my own stupidity all those years earlier when I was 25. You know. Anyway, that was okay. I went the next time in the Mazda, and I got a first, third and second. And I came home, got the car ready on the Thursday. Friday I could hardly stand up. Now, I wasn't doing it to cripple myself, I was doing it for something to do and to have a go. And so I sold the car. Plus, but I've been successful. And I was second in the points, which meant at that time you had gradings. And the top points start at the very back. So that was that. Anyway, the lads were saying, oh, now you're a red top, you don't go out. And so I said, well, if I get a free car, I will. And one came up, wasn't actually free. Got it for £27 at the end of the day, a Montego. And trailed back to Skeg again. Well, it was a team meeting. Now, remember, I've been watching stock cars all my life, and I was still very naive about this, to be honest. And I didn't know what a team meeting was. Anyway, it proved to be blooming rough. And not rough like bangers are today. There was no, you know, 60 mile an hour into stationary cars flattening them. But for instance, one of my friends came up the bank and he saw us on, and he thought it was 2 litre bangers. So that's the sort of thing it was on the day. That's in '97. So I had a good meeting actually, and my second race, I can show you some of the highlights of my second race. I did well, because I started 28th and I got up to 2nd place before a lad stopped me and someone hit me flat out in the back, and I got mad. Anyway, I finished 4th, and that was a good race. And my last one, I made the only mistake I've made really, because I clipped the blooming tyre. I got spun out, I was leading, and first and second for a lap or 2, and got spun out, and I was in catch-up mode, and I clipped the tyre and put myself out. But that was that. Anyway, I had another 3 meetings, and I made myself target number 1 as usual. And so I got a big, it wasn't a huge hit, but for the day it was. It was a flat out length of a straight hit, and it shoved the boot on top. It was too much for me to manage, so I sold the car. And that was that. Well, never would have known it, but I went back. My boating mate won't go in the summertime, so we went to watch bangers instead of stock cars in the winter. And after a couple of years being frozen and wet, I decided I'd go for pleasure, and I went and met a very good friend of mine, and he took the Hillman Mints, which at the time was the oldest car to be in a banger race. And so I went, a lovely bloke, and so I went to see him again. Made a few videos and played about a bit, and all the lads are saying, when are you out next month? No, I'm not, stopped. Anyway, last year, approaching 65, I thought, well, it's my ultimate last chance to have one last go. So what can I do? Anyway, the lads are field bangers, and it's not proper bangers, and everybody behaves. And you just get a car, you take the lights and mirrors and airbags out and wear a crash helmet, and that's it. And you race on a little track behind the field, and it's. But everyone said that. Anyway, I've got a friend who said he would let me do it there and take me. So because it was a one-off, we made the effort, you know, and we painted it all up. I did as much as possible to it. Should have been alright. Anyway, it was slower than we expected, and on the day it didn't go according to plan. No one's fault, just one of those things. That's my first race, and it'd been shuttled on the way there, and I hadn't got enough petrol in and pulled the filter up. And it was a fun event, made a CD. It didn't play in my car and played in the other one. I've tried all this the night before, you know, done everything I could. Oh, and ages doing it. Anyway, so after that, one of my friends said, well, how about, you know, you've plenty of time for the next one. I thought, well, it wasn't quite finished, so, you know, you don't want to leave it like that. We'll see. Anyway, come to the next one. My boating friend said he would take me, and I managed to do my car myself, get a good car. And, oh, that was in May this year. And do you know what? It's the best day I've had for 20 years, and one of the best days of my life. It went fantastically well. Even the weather was perfect. It started out dry and dusty, and it wanted to be some rain, and it rained just the right amount at the right time, 2 short showers. And I got going again, and I know it sounds arrogant, but I was one of the best there. And oh, some people told me since. I said, you know, how impressed. Well, I'm still thinking to myself how well it went. And the best thing out of this last little do is that I found I could still drive, and I thought I couldn't for years. So it's thanks to my friends, huge thanks to my friends, I managed that. And then, again, quite the accident, we had another go. And car came up, similar car, and we went, well, I let myself down, to be honest. I didn't prepare it properly, and I was trying to appease the others, but that didn't matter. You know, I got 2 first and a second, so I should be happy with that sometime. But we target number 1 again. My last race, didn't get blooming video. Oh man, blooming camera was in the car. All I had to do was send someone to fetch it, and everything would have been fine. Anyway, I remember, because why I like video is because when you watch a video of the race, it's very different to how you remember it. Anyway, I do know I was spun out at the start, and I was quite a bit behind, and I do know I got well stuck in and spun several out and won the race by quite a long way. So, you know, that's my last ever race. So when you think that I started, as I say, I've got a 40-year career, and I've done a handful of meetings over that time, with about 15 years in between doing a few of them, I don't know. But that's just how it's been. But no complaints, I tell you. So, there we are, as I say. A 40-year career in, what's that, 4 minutes? Alright, bye.